Welcome, Let Freedom Ring. Very special edition here. We're going to be counting down my top 100 movies of all time. So these are my favorites. So there might be some debate here, but this was inspired by Mike Daggs of Daggs Reviews. I saw he did his 100 top movies and really inspired me to do it. So we're going to do 175 tonight, and we will get all the way down to number one at some point as well. So I want to get right into it. My first, at number 100, we have To Kill a Mockingbird here. This movie is just, man, to explain why I like this, there's just so much to it. Gregory Peck as Crispus Attucks is just unbelievable. And it really is one of those movies that they're talking, this is in 1962 that this movie comes out about really what's the wrongs and rights of the world. And he really is one of I think he might have won the biggest hero of all time in this movie. So I highly, highly recommend it. Definitely something you want to check out. Just a great overall movie, especially for the 1960s. But just the message behind it is just unbelievable. So. Want to get into a little bit of comedy into the next round. One of my favorite movies of all time is Spaceballs. Now, I know a lot of people are probably saying maybe this isn't the greatest thing they've ever seen, but I have to say, Spaceballs is, if you're a Star Wars fan, you find this movie absolutely entertaining, really funny. John Candy's at his best here as Barf. Rick Moranis is in this movie. There's just so many great things about it, and it's just very comical. The whole thing about it. And it's definitely one of those favorite movies that I have. Something that I watched with my dad growing up. So yeah, Spaceballs comes in at 99. Going to the next one, we have JFK, which was a Oliver Stone movie here, and I will admit, when I was younger, I really did buy into this actually maybe being true. I'm still not saying it's not the whole story and everything, but this was just an unbelievable movie, JFK. And it's just something, it came out in 1991. It's just definitely something you want to check out. And we're not saying the conspiracy theory is legit to it. I don't want to give too many spoilers here, but man, that movie probably about I started watching that probably at the end of high school. I think we watched it at school, and it's just something that I became hooked on, and to this day is just a movie I still really like. Coming in '97. We're gonna go with Saw. I mean, for horror movies, the Jigsaw Killer is one of the best. This has one of the best ending scenes to a horror movie. Um, there's just so many great things you can say about Saw. It's not, as far as franchises, I enjoy all of them. I don't rank it as high as Halloween or Friday the 13th or anything like that, but I really do enjoy the Saw movies, and that's why it comes in at 97. Coming in at 96, we do have a comedy here, Beer Fest. I have to say this is again, these are my favorite movies. This doesn't mean Beer Fest is a great movie or anything unbelievable by any means, but this is one of my favorite movies of all time. It had me laughing from beginning to end. You have the guys from Super Troopers in there, um, and they just kill it. They just make you laugh, and everything that goes on in that movie. Barry Babernath, obviously, very very funny stuff going on there. How much is a ZJ? And I love comedy. I love horror. I love comedy. I love just great movies. But this one always makes me laugh a lot, and that's why it's coming in at 96. And there's going to be definitely controversy on this. My next movie, obvious, is Summer Catch, and I might get a little bit of flack for this one. But growing up in New England, you always knew about the Cape Cod League and how great it was, and got to go see the Cape Cod League when I was young, probably only about third grade. Maybe I was 9. Went to see the Falmouth Commodores when we were vacationing there. I think that's why this movie resonates with me so much. Um, but it's definitely in my top 100. I could rewatch it every summer. You'll see a lot of that theme. I do really enjoy a lot of baseball movies, and you'll probably see that in here. 94 coming in is Billy Madison, Manchester, New Hampshire's own Adam Sandler. Always have been a fan of this movie. It has made me laugh. I mean, if you are in your late 30s, right, you're probably still quoting this movie to this day. That Veronica Vaughn. Um, there's just so much to Billy Madison, and I've always just really enjoyed it. And Adam Sandler's always made me laugh. You're gonna see that Adam Sandler comes up on this list again, but I would say this was one of my favorite movies that he did, and still makes me laugh to this day, and I still really enjoy it. So um, yeah, no, Billy Madison coming in at 94. At 93, we have American History X. This is, this is a sad movie, I would say for the most part, but a very enjoyable movie. Edward Norton absolutely kills it as this Nazi white supremacist who's been brainwashed. He goes to prison and realizes, how wrong he really was, and tries to come back and help his brother. I don't want to spoil any of these movies. I'm just telling you why I like them. But his acting in this movie was unbelievable. Um, which kind of goes into the next one here, which is Fight Club, which is another Edward Norton movie, and him and Brad Pitt just absolutely kill this in this movie. This is another great one. You always got to like Fight Club. The twist at the end, where you really didn't understand the Brad Pitt character, was absolutely the same. I don't. Yeah. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but man, for 1999, this really was a great movie, and they talk about it a little bit in the Woodstock documentary a little bit. Um, but yeah, this movie had a lot of impact on a lot of people, and there was lot of great acting, and Meatloaf is in it as well. So this is another one of my favorites. At 91, um, hold on here. Let's see. Independence Day. Another great. This was a summer blockbuster. Still kind of quote it every 4th of July. Um, Jeff Goldblum's in the movie. Bill Pullman's in the movie. Will Smith is in the movie. This is just one of those you just got to watch every year almost. Um, just an unbelievable movie. Not it's not a 4 star or anything like that, but Independence Day is just something that I think we've all enjoyed, and just a really great film. Next coming up is the original Friday the 13th, where this is the one where it's Mrs. Voorhees. Well, again, we don't want to spoil too much, but she is the original killer of these movies. But this is like just very terrifying. You have no idea, and I love horror, absolutely enjoy it so much. But this is definitely like, if you want to get into 80s horror, this is one that's going to get you hooked. Um, Definitely one of my favorite movies. I have other Friday the 13ths that are going to be on this list, but yeah, this was really great. This was absolutely really great. The acting's really great. The actress that played Mrs. Voorhees was terrifying, but you get to see so much in this movie, and yeah, Kevin Bacon gets killed in it as well. Nothing against Kevin Bacon, but yeah, that happens to him. Next coming in at 89 is going to be Midsommar, and this is a newer movie. And there's the director of this, and I'm blanking on his name. Has made Heredity as well. It's an up and coming director. This movie, oh my gosh, I remember watching this, and it's only been about a year since I've seen this for the first time, maybe a little bit more. I was watching my ex-girlfriend at the time, and we were going, "Man, this movie is just slow, just very slow." But oh my god, when this thing picks up, it is absolutely insane. The cult that goes on there, like I have to like this had to be on my list. Just because I hadn't seen a movie like this that I think I've enjoyed to that level in a long time. So I highly recommend seeing Midsommar. It's just a it's gonna mess with your mind a little bit, but I highly suggest it. Coming in at 88, we have Joker, and this is just a great film. Um, I can't even explain how great Joaquin Phoenix really is as an actor. Um, I didn't really think anybody could top the Joker that was provided by Heath Ledger, but this was not the same Joker. This was something very different. This had like it also had a very like taxi driver vibe to it. If you've ever seen that movie, but Joaquin killed it. He definitely deserved the Academy Award, which I believe that he won for that. Um, just a great movie. Highly recommend it. Coming in at 88, I would definitely check it out. Coming in at 87 is Pulp Fiction, and this is just. I think this is pretty much the only Quentin Tarantino movie that has made this list. But oh my gosh, this was just great. The acting in this between Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis and everybody that's in this film. And what I love about this is it doesn't exactly, it doesn't go in the order that things happen, which is something really different that I had never really seen before. Which you do get that from Quentin Tarantino. But yeah, this is definitely has to be on my list. I love this. This is probably my favorite. I'm not a big, Kill Bill fan or anything like that, but this movie for sure um, has to be on my list. Next, going into, I'm not a huge romantic movie fan, but when there's a great movie that you see and you go, man, that story is just so goddamn good. I'm not even a Billy Crystal fan. City Slickers I never really even saw. But Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal just kill it here. Friends that become, more than friends at some point, and shows how much they really cared about each other. This is probably in my opinion, again without spoiling too much, is probably the best love story that I've ever seen. I know a lot of people love The Notebook, but this is great. I really recommend seeing this. When Harry Met Sally, like I said, is one of the only love stories that I think I've ever just been like, I have to own that movie. It's so good. Coming in at 85, we have There's Something About Mary. And this is just, man, constant laughs. Matt Dillon is hilarious in this. So is Ben Stiller, but I thought, Matt Dillon really knocked it out of the park here. You even get that cameo from Brett Favre in there, where he was Brett Favre was a big deal at that time. But when man, this movie just makes me laugh every time I see it, and I definitely could rewatch it over and over again. It's definitely up there. Probably haven't seen it in a little while, but I know this is way deserving to be on my list. Next, coming in at 84 is Van Wilder. And again, you might be watching the same man. You're gonna have to see how this list plays out. But Van Wilder, um, Ryan Reynolds. This is kind of like the introduction of Ryan Reynolds, who became a huge star in Hollywood. But this was like his first putting him on the map, and this movie is just hilarious from start to finish. And again, it's a National Lampoon's I think a lot of their stuff is good. You'll see that later on the list. But there's one quote that's always kind of carried with me my whole life, um, which is, you shouldn't take life too seriously because you'll never get out alive. And that's a Van Wilder quote, which, maybe just a silly movie, but that's definitely a quote that's followed me um, all my years. Um, but coming in at 83, it is Aladdin. First Disney movie on there. Not a ton of Disney that you're gonna get from me on this list, but Aladdin is definitely on this list. Robin Williams as the genie, just absolutely unbelievable. The story's just so good, and I mean, I'm not like I said, I'm not a huge Disney fan, but this is a movie that I can rewatch over and over and over again. And yeah, Aladdin has to be on my list of all-time favorite movies for sure. Another newer movie coming in at 82. We got Split, and this movie really, really got me. And this is a new, like I said, this is a newer movie. Um, but man, was it good. Was it good? Didn't expect a lot of the ending to happen, and there's a twist ending. And again, I don't want to spoil that for anybody um, at all, so I won't do that in case you do want to see it. But James McGavie, McGavie, I'm not sure how to say it. What an unbelievable performance that he gave in this movie. You are terrified at certain points. You're terrified for the people that he's kept captive and what's going to happen to them. And then you see all his different personas, right? This movie is just. It was a movie that and all these movies have to be in my collection. This was one that it's again fairly recent, but had to be in my collection. It's just a very unbelievable movie. Going to 81. I don't mean to. I'm not rushing these. I don't want anybody watching to take up too much of your time watching this. Um, but at what's going on? We want. Oh, hold on here. Sorry. There we go. 81. We got Happy Gilmore. Like I said, Adam Sandler was going to come up again. Everything in this was just great. Carl Weathers is in the film too. Just really funny stuff. Again, I've said this on Facebook numerous times that we'll be quoting Happy Gilmore, Waterboy, um, Billy Madison, Big Daddy for the rest of our lives. But this is like the start of Adam Sandler's career, and this was just great, great movie. Had me laughing the whole time. Still to this day, if it comes on, I got to rewatch, and that's the thing I think that about movies is that it doesn't have to be this four-star movie for you to love it. It's all about that rewatchability, and Happy Gilmore definitely has that. Coming in at 80, we do have The Predator. This is probably the only time you're really gonna. Well, nope, nope, that's a lie. He'll be back on the list at some point. I have never been a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, but this one is, it's just an unbelievable. Jesse Ventura's in it, Carl Weathers is in it. This is just a great '80s movie, just a fantastic. People getting eliminated throughout the film, and you're trying to figure out what's going to happen towards the end. But um, like I said, I'm not huge. I'm not huge on Arnold, but this is like you can't deny it. You will see Schwarzenegger back on this list in a little bit. But yes, not completely huge on him. But this movie is undeniable. Next coming in at uh, 79 is Home Alone. And I would say during Christmas, there's not another movie that I think, well, obviously there is because we'll get to that on the list, but Home Alone is something I have to watch every single year. Just it's hilarious, all the traps that he sets up, but you just get that vibe where that Christmas vibe that everybody really enjoys. So, Home Alone definitely coming in at 79. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Um, it has to be on a list of anybody. But um, let's see here, going into 78, which is the original Candyman. As much as I've appreciated the new one, um, I think Jordan Peele was involved in it, but this is some scary shit. If you watch Candyman, it is some scary, scary shit, and it's really good. I remember as kids, like, being afraid to say Candyman, that many times because a lot of people bought into the movie, but just terrifying. The ending is unbelievable. It's definitely high on my rank of horror films. Um, I could watch this Yeah, I could watch this over and over. Just unbelievable, and definitely has a place on this list. And yeah, it's scary. I would say it's scarier than some of the other films that are going to be on this. That actually, when the first time I watched it, was like, wow, this is pretty terrifying. So Candyman comes in at 78, 77. Got to have this on your list. Training Day, um, Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke, good cop, bad cop. Um, Man, there's gonna be higher ranked films on this list with Denzel Washington, but this was really the first time got to see him be, the bad guy, and honestly, he killed it. You know, not what you can. It's what you can prove, right? Um, Awesome movie. Highly recommend seeing Training Day. Everything Denzel does in this movie is just unbelievable. You'd all be playing basketball in Pelican Bay if it wasn't for me. I am King Kong. Like, he's just Denzel is finally getting to be the bad guy, right? And I think a lot of people, if you're a pro wrestling fan, right, they have the most fun ever being the bad guy. And this is Denzel just knocking it out the park. It's a very enjoyable movie. Highly, highly recommend. Next, coming in at 77 is going to be Serpico. First Al Pacino movie that's on the list. Al Pacino plays, a good cop trying to do everything right. This is in the 1970s, trying to do everything right, and this is one of the movies I'd say that he just had a great decade in the 70s for sure. But yeah, this is a movie I can watch over and over. Definitely that good cop against trying to do the right thing against all these bad cops, and that still kind of goes to today, where there's a lot of controversy. I think most police officers are good, but there are going to be some bad ones there, and that conflict of doing what's right. And he's kind of like this hippie cop too. Like, he's not your what you really think of when you think of a police officer. So definitely Serpico, I highly recommend. Definitely check that out. And then coming in at 75, which will wrap it up for this first edition, is The Patriot. And I had a lot of difficulties which Mel Gibson movie I would actually put on this list, because I do really enjoy Braveheart as well. But The Patriot, Heath Ledger's very young at this time. He's in this movie. Um, but it's just, you really get this hatred for the redcoats, and I know that they're playing a lot up of the American Revolution, but this is a must see. This is a must own. Can't get enough of The Patriot, and Mel Gibson. So, you know great movie, highly recommend checking that out, and taking a look at that. So that's 175 so far. I want to keep these videos very, very short, because I know that when you talk about a list of 100 movies, it's very long, and I'm trying to be as detailed as I possibly can without giving spoilers. But definitely check out the movies here listed if you haven't seen them before. But yeah, definitely comment on the video, give your input. Again, we're going to keep these videos short and to the point because really just want to get out there what my top favorite movies were, and I'd love to hear what others are as well. So that's always a good thing to talk about. But we will be in studio on Thursday talking about the Challenge Cup with Greg Kelly and Lou. So definitely check that out. But everybody out there, I hope you like this list. I hope that it makes you want to see something new if you haven't seen before. But until next time, I want you to return your shopping carts and let freedom ring.